Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
It's still chilly outside right now for most of us. Notice upper 50s down to the south. I'll show you when we could see some sunshine in the triangle coming up.
State education leaders asked lawmakers to cap the school voucher program. We're live with a look at the other important requests from the state board.
The wing of a jet slices the tail of a parked plane. This is the latest issue involving airplanes, where this latest incident took place.
Yeah, that weather roller coaster continues this week and this afternoon with a big warm up on the way. Not quite here just yet, but good afternoon to you. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. Thanks for joining us. We do have a lot of clouds out there. Meteorologist Amy Wilmoth is out on the weather patio with a look at why we keep seeing these big swings in our temperatures. Amy.
It is all about the jet stream and where that jet stream is located. It really dictates what our temperatures are going to be. And this time of year, the southern branch of the jet stream, or the subtropical jet stream, sometimes goes north of us, and that's when we're in above normal temperatures. But then there are still cold fronts that move through that takes the jet stream south of us, and then we have colder temperatures. So it's really been a roller coaster ride. The start of the month, we had above normal temperatures. Then we went to normal highs with a temperature of 54 for a high. And then we went back to 70 on Monday, and then we went to 80, broke a record on Tuesday, and then we were back down to 55 Wednesday. Well, today we are on the warm side of the jet stream, and if we can get these clouds to break up, which we've already seen in our southern counties, we'll start to warm up here in the triangle as well. But notice the dark areas in the southern part of the viewing area. That's where we're seeing some sunshine, Fayetteville included. 57 in Fayetteville right now. It's 55 in Clinton with some sunshine and 55 in Southern Pines, but still in the upper 40s in Raleigh and Durham. But if we start to see the sun, that temperature will start to climb fast. We're still expecting highs in the 60s, probably up to around 66. That's if we get some sun in the triangle, and I think we will. But then notice the rain icons late tonight, starting around 10 o'clock. Some showers will be possible overnight tonight, maybe an isolated rumble of thunder. Temperatures will continue to go up and down. We're above normal today and tomorrow. We're back down to about normal on Saturday. We could break a record high Sunday, 74 the high, the record 75, and then we're back in the 40s Monday. So we'll just keep riding the roller coaster for the next several days. Our rain chances, again, they start to go up late tonight, maybe an isolated rumble of thunder, and this is all associated with the cold front that's to the west of us, and that particular cold front also bringing a mess to the northeast, ice storm warnings, winter weather advisories, and that's causing some issues at airports. We'll have more on the weekend forecast and what you can expect coming up in just a little bit.
And Amy's absolutely right. It is causing a mess at the airports in the Northeast right now. Here in the WRAL Live Center, we're taking a look at some cancellations and delays at RDU. Right now, 35 delays at RDU, 13 cancellations. The 13 cancellations has held steady within the past couple of hours, but these delays have been climbing. So if you do have a flight today, just check it before you head out the door. Across the country, we are seeing 2,500 delays right now and 527 cancellations. And if you look at the airports where they're seeing the most delays and cancellations, it's Philadelphia, it's Reagan, it's LaGuardia, it's Boston, all of those cities in the Northeast today.
Michelle, thanks. The voucher program saw a big expansion last year when state lawmakers removed income limits for eligibility. It's scheduled to expand again in each of the next 2 school years. WRAL's Destiny Patterson joins us now with a request from school board members. Destiny.
Well, the State Board of Education meeting just wrapped up in the last 45 minutes or so. And if state school board members get what they're asking for, if they grant their wish, then the vouchers will not be issued for the upcoming school year or the year after that. As you mentioned, the income eligibility limits and the changes to that allowed that program to further expand. The state school board superintendent says that the money could instead be used for public school needs.
We recognize that there are certainly limited dollars and where those dollars might come from. One place that they might come from then would be dollars that have been appropriated for the taxpayer-funded private school voucher program. And
So what's interesting about this is that the State School Board of Education, they went over their list of priorities yesterday, and this topic did not come up. In fact, you can see some of their priorities listed here: more money for Western North Carolina in teacher pay and educator pay, and more digital investments. The topic of private school vouchers only came up today before that vote. It caught at least one school board member off guard. We'll have that part of the story in our evening newscast. Destiny Patterson, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
And tonight, staff at Durham Public Schools will take the next step toward addressing their budget shortfall. Durham Public Schools announced last month its budget is $7 million short. Since then, staff has been able to find some funding to close that gap by 3/4, about 75%. A large portion of that comes from an $18 million grant from philanthropist Mackenzie Scott. The work session starts at 5:30 tonight.
The newest member of the Johnston County Board of Education is no stranger to the system. This morning, school board members voted in favor of Jeff Sullivan. He has served in Johnston County Public Schools for over 30 years as an assistant principal, teacher, and coach. He will be replacing Ronald Johnson, who was convicted of extortion and other crimes.
Recovery operations at the site of the deadly mid-air collision in D.C. are shifting towards removing the remainder of the jet and Army helicopter from the Potomac River. New video shows a small boat pulling what appears to be fragments of the Black Hawk helicopter out of the water. The task is expected to be complete by tomorrow. Meantime, the FAA plans to reduce the number of hourly flights allowed into Reagan from 28 to 26 due to the loss of 2 runways during the investigation and increased stress on controllers. Last week's mid-air collision was among numerous topics President Trump addressed during this morning's National Prayer Breakfast. The president also called on lawmakers to find a middle ground.
You have to get together. We really have to get together. We all know what's right and what's wrong, and there's going to be compromise on both sides. But we have to just do the right thing, and we have to get together.
During today's event, the president also told people there that surviving the assassination attempt changed him.
Democratic veterans spoke out against a lawsuit in the still unresolved race for a state Supreme Court seat. They called on Republican candidate Jefferson Griffin to drop his legal challenge. He's asking the courts to throw out thousands of votes cast by military service members. WRAL Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie explains what's behind this.
After 2 recounts, Democratic incumbent Allison Riggs is still leading Griffin by more than 700 votes. Griffin is asking the courts to throw out more than 60,000 ballots, including 5,500 from overseas and military voters. Democratic military veterans are calling that shameful. Republican candidate Jefferson Griffin says overseas and military voters should have been required to show a photo ID. The State Board of Elections says those voters use a federal voting system and state law does not require photo ID for that. State elections officials say the 5,500 voters followed the law, and Democrats are quick to point out the law was written by Republicans. Vietnam combat veteran Nasif Majid noted that Griffin himself voted this way in the past.
He is challenging the very electoral voting system that allowed him to cast his vote when he was in the military.
Air Force veteran Val Applewhite represents Fort Liberty. She said it's disgraceful to challenge the votes of active military members. She said they're the ones risking their lives to protect our right to free elections.
This fight is bigger than just one election. It's about whether we, as a state, will allow election losers to rewrite the rules of the game once it has been played.
The Republican Party is backing Griffin. A state GOP spokesman accused Democrats of misinterpreting the law and, quote, irresponsible rhetoric. Photo ID and voter verification is in our state constitution and state law, said GOP spokesman Matt Mercer. That case will get its first hearing in trial court here in Wake County Friday morning. Laura Leslie, WRAL News, Raleigh.
The 20th Annual Agricultural Development Forum is underway right now. Today's Ag Forum will look at the economic outlook for 2025 and include a panel discussion on Hurricane Helene recovery. This is the largest agricultural expo in the Carolinas and Virginia, happening at the State Fairgrounds today and tomorrow.
The power is back on now, and debris has been removed from a Raleigh neighborhood following a crash. This was around 5:45 this morning. The driver of a black SUV crashed into a power pole in the 1000 block of Brooks Avenue. About 70 Duke Energy customers lost power because of it. Crews were called out to remove the hanging lines there and replace the broken pole. No one was hurt, and WRAL is working to learn what caused the crash.
And here in the WRAL Live Center, we're following reports of a vehicle crash in Durham on I-85. This is actually a live look from the traffic cameras right now. This is on I-85 South in Durham County, just after, I should say, Guess Road. You can see the big rig on the side of the road there. It seems as if some materials had fallen out of the back, but you can see it's all getting cleaned up. 2 right lanes of I-85 South are closed right now. They did have an end time of about 2:45 this afternoon. You could see a lot of police on scene there, so if you were on I-85 South in Durham, just move over a lane to give them plenty of room to clean up.
Tragic deaths of 2 foster children have raised big questions about North Carolina's child welfare system.
Because somewhere these kids fell through the cracks.
It is the focus of a brand new WRAL documentary airing tonight. In our next half hour, WRAL's Kristen Severance joins us to talk about what went wrong and what must change to keep kids in North Carolina safe.
Next at noon, a parked plane strike, how 2 planes got tangled while on the ground in Seattle.
Also, Philly or KC in the Super Bowl. It's a big ticket item, but the reasons it's a little less expensive to get in the game this year compared to last.
Plus, buy out or get out, the tough choice facing some federal workers with the midnight deadline.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.
The Trump administration has pushed out the chief financial officer of the Office of Personnel Management, which manages funds that pay federal employee retirement and benefit plans. Erica Roach managed more than $1 trillion in funds. And last week, a Trump appointee working with Elon Musk asked her if she was loyal and could be trusted. She responded she always does the right thing. Roach resigned after she was removed and offered a role that would have been a demotion. The newly sworn-in U.S. Attorney General plans to order a review of criminal and civil cases brought against President Donald Trump. The cases are expected to include the hush money case that led to a Trump conviction and the case that ended with a civil fraud judgment worth $454 million against Trump. Pam Bondi also plans to review former special counsel Jack Smith's case over the president's handling of classified documents, as well as the 2020 election interference case.
The full transcript from the CBS 60 Minutes interview with former Vice President Kamala Harris proves the network did not doctor her answers. The FCC and CBS just released that document. President Trump claimed the network altered the content of Harris's answers through editing, claiming it amounted to election interference. CBS admits making cuts for time, but did not change her answers. 60 Minutes also invited then-candidate Trump to be interviewed. He declined.
The FAA is gearing up for another investigation into a plane incident, this time at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. The wing of a taxiing jet sliced through the tail of a parked Delta plane. Although no one was hurt, everyone was forced off both planes. NBC's Tom Costello has more on that, as well as the efforts to recover the Black Hawk helicopter from the Potomac.
Oh, my God. It happened mid-morning at Seattle's SeaTac Airport. The wing of a Japan Airlines 787 Dreamliner slicing into the tail of a Delta Airlines 737.
You can expect to hold for a little bit here. Japan is blocking the alleyway.
Both airlines say there were no injuries. JAL apologized. The FAA says it happened in an area not under air traffic control. While not classified as a so-called runway incursion, the NTSB and FAA have been working to reduce airport close calls. More than 1,600 incursions at airports last year alone, 7 classified as the most serious. It comes as salvage teams continue to retrieve personal belongings and debris from the American Eagle jetliner that went down in the Potomac River last week. Recovery teams hope to lift the Army Black Hawk from the water today or Friday. All 67 victims have been recovered and identified. The FAA says choppers will no longer be allowed to share the airspace with planes around Reagan Airport at the same time.
And they flew right into the landing path of this airplane.
The new Transportation Secretary, Sean Duffy, says he's looking at ways to surge more controllers into understaffed facilities and modernize air traffic control with the help of Elon Musk, who posted the Doge team will help to make rapid safety upgrades to the air traffic control system.
We're going to remake our airspace, and we're going to do it quickly.
Almighty God, we gather here tonight.
Meanwhile, a vigil Wednesday night in Alexandria, Virginia, exactly 1 week since 67 people lost their lives in America's worst aviation disaster in more than 20 years.
There's Tom Costello reporting. And meantime, several passengers on a flight from Houston to Denver jumped into action when an unruly passenger started kicking profusely and punching the window.
Luckily, there was a group of guys that was willing to pitch in and do it. But I think, and I'm glad that they had flexi cuffs, but it took a while to find those. Like it just didn't really seem like there was a process and procedure for an incident like this.
And witnesses say it started when a woman in front of the passenger asked to move seats, trade, I guess, and he hit the window so hard it broke the plexiglass that covers the window there. That jet was able to land safely. No word on charges just yet. What happened to the friendly skies?
Right? You know? I just feel fortunate when I have a normal, no incident plane ride, right? That's all we ask for. Meteorologist Amy Wilmoth is out on the WRAL weather patio right now, and lots of clouds out there, but it's warming up, isn't it?
It is, and we're hoping that the sun will come out a little bit more. It's starting to brighten up just a little bit here, but we're still in the 40s, so had to wear the jacket. We do have a little bit of rain showing up on radar in our northern counties. Most of us are dry right now, but up to the north, we do have a couple of spotty showers that are moving through the northern part of the viewing area. It's not really impacting most of the area, but I did see that on some of our cameras that we have some showers in the Lake Gaston area, and again, not very heavy, and they're moving out of the area, but check out Lake Gaston. I saw some sprinkles just a short time ago. They're stuck in the clouds right now. Definitely cloudy in the northern half of the viewing area, including Wake County and all of the Triangle. But look to the south in Clinton. It's beautiful. They have blue sky, they have sunshine, and that's where temperatures are really starting to warm up. The southern counties where we're seeing some sunshine. 57 in Fayetteville, 57 in Clinton, 55 in Rayford and Southern Pines. And we're starting to see 50s kind of creep up toward the Triangle in Irwin and Sanford, but still sitting at 48 degrees right now in Raleigh. To the north, we still have 30s even. Roanoke Rapids, cloudy there with a temperature of 36. So as soon as the sun comes out in your area, expect that temperature to go up. We're going with 66 for the high temperature in and around the Triangle today. Should be pretty nice overall, but then we have another round of some rain and maybe even an isolated storm that could arrive during the overnight hours. And it's associated with this cold front that's to the west right now. There's been some severe weather with this, but the energy with this system is going to stay mainly to our north, so we don't expect severe weather here. The severe risk is a level 1 risk for the North Carolina mountains. There's a level 2 risk for parts of Tennessee, including the Nashville area. And parts of Tennessee, they've already had some tornado warnings and some thunderstorm warnings. It's a winter mess up to the north on the cold side of the frontal system. They have snow, they have ice, slick roads up and down I-95, and also that is causing numerous flight delays and also some cancellations. Around here, it's way too warm for anything that just is going to be rain. A couple of spotty showers today. Overnight tonight, a stray shower, maybe an isolated rumble of thunder. Friday and Saturday morning, just a slim chance for rain. Sunday at night, we have the chance for rain, and then we'll have a better chance for rain as we head into Monday, a 50% chance for rain. So futurecast through the day today, mainly dry, just some showers in our northern counties. But then tonight, this is after midnight, around 2 a.m., some showers, maybe an isolated storm rolling through. Here's 3 a.m., still seeing some showers, maybe an isolated storm. But by the time we get to the morning commute tomorrow, we're in good shape and we should be fine. It should be dry for the morning commute tomorrow. And Saturday's looking pretty dry, but we have a chance for a stray shower or two in the morning hours. As far as how much rain we could get, up to about 1/4 of an inch between now and through the day on Saturday, so not a lot of rain, but we do have more rain on the way next week. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, rain is likely. And I'll have more on that and how that could impact our drought situation coming up in a little bit.
Amy, thanks. Future at risk. A Durham Teen Center is asking for help and support from the community to stay open. And today on WRAL News at 4, the impact its closure could have on the Bull City and how city leaders are stepping in.
And then at 5, rising carjackings. Car thefts across the triangle are surging with no relief in sight. What law enforcement is doing to put a stop to it. Plus, still ahead this noon, tanking ticket prices. Why some say now just might be the time to buy tickets to Super Bowl 59.
Ditching domestic, why one beer maker wants to replace the term with another word. If you're on the fence about going to this year's Super Bowl, now might be the time to grab those last-minute seats. Okay, they're still in the thousands of dollars, but ticket costs for this year's Super Bowl are dramatically lower compared to last year. Ted Lindner takes a closer look at the data.
If you're considering going to Super Bowl 59 but haven't bought tickets yet.
As of Wednesday afternoon, the average ticket price sold is about $7,300 per ticket.
Your window to grab lower prices may be closing. That's according to data and projections from experts at StubHub.
As you get closer to the game, certainly we expect demand to continue to pick up. We saw that last year in Las Vegas. Prices actually will go up as you get closer to the game. So right now is probably some of the best prices to get.
This comes as the seller reports the number of Super Bowl ticket sales on its site is up 12% from last year, citing how overall lower ticket prices have contributed to the demand.
We've actually seen ticket prices be about 16% more affordable when compared to last year in Las Vegas. There's actually 15,000 more tickets, which has led to being that get-in price where we see, as of Wednesday, hover just below $3,000.
And with the Philadelphia Eagles facing off against the Kansas City Chiefs for the second time in 3 years, here's a breakdown of sales among the fans as of Wednesday.
21% of our sales have come from the state of Philadelphia for the Eagles, and about 10% from Kansas and Missouri.
But once tickets are purchased, remember not to share your barcodes on social media so no one can take a screen grab and steal your seats. Meanwhile, as fans continue flocking in from out of town, data from travel booking platform Skiplagged reports Saturday will be the cheapest day to fly from Kansas City to New Orleans. Eagles fans in Philly can find the lowest flights Sunday morning.
So no truth to any Taylor fatigue for those ticket prices there. That was Ted Lindner reporting. OpenAI, meantime, is shelling out millions of dollars for 30 seconds of primetime exposure during the Super Bowl. Those ads are expensive. The creator of ChatGPT expects to air its first TV commercial during the game Sunday. It's the company's biggest advertising push so far. The price for a 30-second spot in this year's Super Bowl is as much as $8 million. Easy come, easy go. Super Bowl 59 features a rematch between the Philadelphia Eagles and Kansas City Chiefs, and you can watch the big game. Fox 50 is the place for kickoff, 6:30 Sunday night.
Hollywood watchers speculate that the EGOT is within Cynthia Erivo's reach. She's already won Emmy, Grammy, and Tony Awards. All that's left is the Oscar. Ahead of this year's Academy Awards ceremony, the Wicked actress received another honor.
Please, everyone, join me in welcoming our 75th Woman of the Year to the stage, the brilliant Grammy, Emmy, Tony Award winning, and Academy Award nominated Cynthia Erivo!
Erivo was named the Woman of the Year by Hasty Pudding Theatricals, the award presented to a performer who has made a lasting and impressive contribution to the world of entertainment. Go see Wicked if you haven't. Then you'll understand.
Exactly. Federal workers in fear. Millions face a midnight deadline to take a severance package from the Trump administration or face an uncertain future.
Also, Next Gen 911, how callers are being connected with emergency dispatchers through text messages, social media, and video. First, here's a look at the winning lottery numbers.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Today, Israel began making preparations for large numbers of Palestinians to leave the Gaza Strip in line with President Trump's plan for the territory.
Yeah, but Palestinians have vehemently rejected the proposal, fearing Israel will never allow those refugees to return and that it would destabilize the region. NBC's Yasmin Vasugian reports from Tel Aviv.
I think one of the most startling things of the last 48 hours is the conversation shifting away from the hostages and getting the hostages back into Israel and more towards corralling around, of course, Prime Minister Netanyahu and the idea that Palestinians could essentially leave Gaza after what we heard from the White House and President Trump standing beside Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. For a long time, the Prime Minister's power has been in question, and there was a sense that he was prolonging this war in order to remain in power. But now, after what it seems getting the backing of President Trump and the possibility of getting Palestinians out of Gaza, something the right wing of his government is very much in support of, they are now corralling more around the prime minister, and the conversation is moving away from getting those hostages out of Gaza in spite of max amount of pressure from the Family Forum here in Tel Aviv and in Israel overall, in getting those remaining 79 hostages out of Israel. With that all in mind, the question is, does this put the ceasefire deal, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, the day after, in question? We'll learn more in the next couple of days, but certainly a lot in question here in Israel. Yasmin Vasugian, NBC News, Tel Aviv.
Today's the last day for over 2 million federal workers to decide on a buyout from the Trump administration. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey tells us thousands have already taken it.
Federal workers will have the option to sign the dotted line until midnight tonight. More than 50,000 federal workers live in North Carolina, according to federal data, and dozens of them work here in this building in downtown Raleigh. This deadline comes after President Trump ordered federal employees to stop remote work and return to the office. His message: return to work in person, resign, or be fired. If workers agree to resign by midnight, they can get paid through September. Most full-time federal employees are eligible, but there are a few exceptions, like the military, U.S. Postal Service employees, and positions related to immigration enforcement or national security. 40,000 workers have already taken the buyout. That's about 2% of the people who were offered the deal. Several federal workers' unions have filed a lawsuit to try and halt this deadline. A hearing for that is scheduled for this afternoon at 1 o'clock. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Raleigh.
6 months ago, the FCC made a push to help an analog 911 system step into the modern digital era. But change on a national scale is hardly that simple. NBC's Ali Vitali introduces us to Next Generation 911.
If you're in trouble, this is who you call.
Alrighty, stay on the line here. Let me get an ambulance on the way to you, okay?
But what if you can't?
So used to, you couldn't, right? If you couldn't call 911, you had to either find a way to escape and get help.
Now new technology called Next Generation 911 is taking luck out of it.
We still preach if you can call 911, that's what we prefer. If you can't, then you can text.
Here in Illinois, the tech was a priority for Amos Abbott, the director of Franklin County 911.
With Next Gen, it brings in video text to 911, AI-powered translation for different languages.
That expands emergency access for the 11 million deaf Americans to millions more who don't speak fluent English.
One call is like a one-stop shop.
Others need help in domestic violence, home invasion, or active shooter situations where a phone call isn't possible.
It'll come in just like a 911 call. Our phone will ring, and then we see up on this screen that it's a 911 text. This is actually a text right here. So I'm going to click answer.
Should the caller, in this case Amos, doing a test for us, have live video?
And then they're going to click this link to go live with me.
We're all like this at all times.
24/7.
24/7. So the fact that this technology is just catching
However,
up.
you can do that with your family and friends, but there's still people across the nation that can't reach 911 by doing that same exact thing.
State and local dispatchers are having to make some really tough dollars and cents decisions about what they can do technology-wise. It leads to maps like this one, where about half the country has basic text to 911 and about half don't.
We have to remember that 911 is a local entity.
So it's really up to the agencies having jurisdiction.
Congress could help establish a national standard. Experts say a $15 billion federal investment could make Next-Gen 911 accessible everywhere.
This is Ali Vitale reporting. And last summer, the FCC adopted the first rules for a next-gen 911 transition. It required cell phone providers to support the shift over the next few years.
The end of domestic, why the CEO of Anheuser-Busch wants to replace it with another word in the world of beer.
Overcoming alcohol addiction, the surprising drug treatment that's already being used for another health issue. And remember, you can watch WRAL News live anytime on WRAL.com or the WRAL app on your streaming device.
Google is the latest major corporation to scrap its DEI commitments. Google's chief people officer sent a memo to employees saying, quote, in the future, we will no longer have aspirational goals when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Changes to other programs and initiatives are being evaluated. The changes come as President Trump has criticized those efforts. The CEO of Anheuser-Busch wants the beer world to ditch the word domestic and replace it with American. Although he admits domestic is an accurate term, he says it gives him a negative and less patriotic feel. Analysts aren't sure if this will sway the industry or if people would even notice the difference. Some Budweiser labels already use the phrase Great American Lager and that they are, quote, brewed and bottled in the USA.
A new treatment could soon be available for people who suffer from addiction. The new class of weight loss drugs, the GLP-1s like Wegovy and Ozempic, are not only helping people lose unwanted pounds, but some people say it also helped them get sober. Observational studies have shown promise. Researchers have participants look at images of drinks with and without alcohol while getting an MRI scan. The hope is that participants on the GLP-1 would have the same brain activity regardless of the drink they see.
It is very clear at this point that we are sort of at the beginning of a revolution in medicine. The question is, are we at a beginning of a revolution in addiction medicine?
Well, the study will wrap up later this year and we'll learn more.
Super Bowl stress. It's not just about the back and forth of the score, how you can reduce your risk of a heart attack when watching the big game.
Plus, we're on a weather roller coaster ride all week long. Amy Wilmoth tells us about today's warm-up after yesterday's drastic cool down.
The alleged murder of two foster kids in North Carolina and the arrest of their adopted mother has child welfare officials and lawmakers asking what went wrong. It's the focus of a brand new WRAL documentary airing tonight called Broken: Foster Care in North Carolina. WRAL documentary reporter Kristen Severance joins us now to talk about the project. Kristen.
Renee, yes, we really looked at how one woman with 9 aliases was able to adopt 5 children from 3 different North Carolina counties. And we learned so much about the foster care system in North Carolina and how it failed the very kids it's supposed to protect. Here's a short clip of the documentary airing tonight at 7:30.
711 is the other emergency. Right now to engage suicidal. Okay, how old are you? I'm 15. I want EMS to take me to the hospital. All right, just right now. Hurry, please.
Case started.
So the mental health call is what kicked off this entire investigation for this case.
I thank everybody for joining us today.
In November of 2023, officers with the Fayetteville Police Department responded to a call at the Devon home on Berrydale Drive for a mental health crisis. The victim that was going through the mental health crisis told authorities that he had not seen his brother Blake in 5 years and that the last time he had seen him, he had a broken arm.
A person at that home told officers that Blake Devon had not been seen in 5 years, 5 whole years.
Fayetteville detectives have confirmed Blake Devon has been missing since 2017.
Avante Devon is the adoptive mother of Blake Devon.
Avante only reported Blake missing after our investigation began.
791, what's the address of the emergency? I need to file a missing persons report. All right. I was told to call 911. So your 17-year-old son is missing? Yeah. What was he last seen wearing? I don't even know, ma'am. He told me he was going to a Buddhist retreat and never called back. When was that, ma'am? It was a year ago.
And then that led to more questions where, okay, well, this person's been missing for so long. You're now just, reporting it.
Was there any picture of this Blake Devin?
There was one photo that was from 2012. That was the last known photo of him. Do you think it's a little strange that over the course of 12 years, not one other photo was available? And that's when we also hear that another person was missing related to the same case, and that this is an adoptive sister. So London Devin went missing.
My name is Kristen Severance, and I'm the investigative documentary reporter at WRAL. We will take you through this entire case with people like my colleague, Chris Levingood, who has covered this story from the very beginning.
The story just had so many holes.
We'll take you through police reports and court documents, share interviews with biological family members.
He's my first love.
But this documentary isn't just about Blake and London Devin.
We discovered 5 children were adopted by Avante Devin from 3 different North Carolina counties.
5 children taken out of homes. Now you got 2 just completely disappeared.
So many questions about this case, but it's not just about this true crime case. We will really explain the foster care system in North Carolina, how it's set up, how it's funded, and really how it's failing kids and what is being done to fix it. I really hope people watch, Renee. They will learn so much, and hopefully change will come from this.
And awareness is the first step toward change, right? And it's
Absolutely.
really about how can we protect our state's most vulnerable children. We cannot wait to see what you and Chris find in this documentary. You can watch Broken Foster Care in North Carolina tonight at 7:30 on WRAL, or see the extended version online on WRAL.com. Kristen, thank you. Just go to the documentary section.
Certainly a much watch. We'll be tuned in tonight for certain. As we take a step outside, it is gray skies out there, no question, but we're going to get a rise back up in these temperatures after how cold it was yesterday. Right now, Amy Wilmoth on the WRAL weather patio.
Still jacket weather out here right now, a little chilly with a breeze. Temperatures are in the 40s, but we're also watching the radar. A couple of showers in the northeastern part of our viewing area, pretty close to I-95. They're moving to the east. Most of us are dry. It's just those spotty showers that we're seeing right now. This is a live look at Raleigh. It's 48 degrees. We have a southwest wind at 5 miles per hour. Starting to see things brighten up just a little bit here on the WRAL weather patio. This is a live look at Apex. You can even see some blue sky in the shot there. So we're starting to see a little bit of sun. Our southern counties, it's beautiful. This is a live look at the Pinehurst Resort and Country Club. Blue sky for the golfers, also a little breezy at times. But it's 48 in Raleigh, where we still have quite a bit of cloud cover, but temperatures are in the upper 50s in southern counties, getting close to 60 now in Clinton, where it's 59, 57 in Fayetteville, and 55 in Southern Pines. We are expecting above normal temperatures, 66 in Raleigh today, but maybe 75 in Clinton, 73 in Fayetteville. So yesterday was a cooler day. We're back to milder temperatures today. We do have a weak cold front that's going to pass through tonight, but it's not going to impact our temperatures, but it will bring another round of some rain and maybe even a thunderstorm or 2 overnight tonight. A lot of the energy with this system stays to the north of us, and that's where there's a winter storm across the northeast. But tonight we could see a couple of showers, maybe an isolated rumble of thunder. I just don't want that to catch you off guard if you hear some thunder overnight tonight, likely between maybe 2 and 4 a.m. Stays pretty mild tonight, most of us in the 50s, 53 for the low and Raleigh. And then tomorrow, what a beautiful start to the weekend. We'll have the skies clear out through the day, and it gets up to about 70 tomorrow afternoon. So really beautiful to kick off the weekend. Saturday, we go back to temperatures closer to normal, 55 for a high, and we have a lot of clouds around, just a slim chance for a shower. But then Sunday, we go back to the warmth. So we continue to just bounce around. 74 for the forecast high on Sunday. The record is 75, so getting close to record numbers for Super Bowl Sunday. And then late during the nighttime hours, we have about a 30% chance for some rain on Sunday. So here's a look at the Super Bowl forecast at 6:30 in the evening. New Orleans, it's a dome, so it doesn't really matter, but the weather's nice, low 70s there. 64 here in Raleigh if you're hosting a Super Bowl party. We might have some showers by the time we get to the end of the game, but for the most part, it stays dry. We do still have moderate drought across the entire area. This is the latest update that came out this morning, so we do need the rain. And looking ahead to next week, above normal rainfall is in the forecast. Looks to be pretty rainy and cold Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And look at the forecast rainfall through Wednesday, perhaps up to 2 inches of rain, and that's really some rain that we could use. We have really good rain chances next week. Just some spotty showers for the next few days, kind of going up and down in the temperatures. But with the rain next week, it's also colder with highs in the upper 40s Monday and Tuesday.
Thanks, Amy. Hey, we saw that football right in the middle of the forecast there. Gearing up for Super Sunday, a cardiologist explains how game day stress and partying can take a toll on your heart.
The winning Powerball numbers are 19, 27, 30, 50, 62, and the Powerball is 14. The multiplier is 3. As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we're following today. State education leaders asked lawmakers not to issue any new private school vouchers. The State Board of Education is asking to cap the program's growth for next year and the year after. The voucher program saw a big expansion this year when state lawmakers removed income limits for eligibility. The board wants the money saved to be used on public school needs.
This morning, after minimum discussion, 5 out of 6 board members voted in favor of Jeff Sullivan. Sullivan has served in Johnston County Public Schools for over 30 years and as an assistant principal, a teacher, a coach, and exceptional children program specialist. He'll be replacing Ronald Johnson, who is convicted of extortion and other crimes.
All lanes are back open on I-85 in Durham after a semi overturned this morning. The crash was reported around 10 a.m. 2 southbound lanes were closed near Guest Road as crews worked to clean up the mess. WRAL is working to learn if anyone was hurt.
Super Bowl Sunday is almost here, but all the excitement of cheering on your favorite team can really take a toll on your heart. A cardiologist has documented how major sporting events can increase the risk of heart attacks. Along with the game day stress, what we eat and drink can also contribute to this increased risk. The key is to take a break from the game if you do get too stressed out.
So the biggest thing I can offer is to not wait for the fourth quarter if you're having signs or symptoms, to really pay attention to what's happening with your body during the event, and to reach out and touch base with medical care quickly if you're having signs or symptoms.
Or to not really have a care who wins, just watch. Never ignore any sort of chest pain or shortness of breath either.
I've never been that invested.
No.
But hey, our vet of the day comes from the SPCA of Wake County, and the picture should tell you all you need to know. Mish Mish is 4 years old, and he loves food. He is in need of a new home since his family moved to Egypt, and he couldn't move with them. Mish Mish has lived with kids before, but can get overwhelmed by loud noises. His ideal home would be a little calmer. Oh, and did we mention he's a